Hello everyone, Alphmendra Ten here, and today we're doing another starter deck box review. Today we have the Fortified deck. This deck says the Fortified starter deck uses defenses to stall out the opponent while you fire upon them from the safety of city walls. Stand strong long enough to win the game. So your goal is to build a giant defensive wall through your structure cards, which don't deal you any soul damage when they're destroyed, and then you grow things like catapults and trebuchets in order to deal long-ranged damage to your opponent. So we have the rulebook. We have the Regal Alpha. So you can pay 2 coins in exhaust and search your hand deck or graveyard for a structured card named Stonewall and put it onto the battlefield, which let's see if we can find that real quick. Stonewall is right here. Yep, so you get 3 copies of Stonewall, which is a 2 HP wall structure card. For 2, you don't take soul damage when it dies, which is really nice. So you can put these to your front row, stall out your opponent. Your opponent can't deal damage to you, which is nice, and that helps you get to your big stuff like the trebuchets. The next player is the Fiend Alpha. So the Fiends are all about, dealing damage to your opponent, deal damage to yourself. So you can pay 2 coins and exhaust it to deal 1 damage to any target, and you'll have to take 1 damage in return. This is really nice for very versatile for dealing damage to your opponent's creatures or your opponent's player card. So this can slow down an aggressive push, like by the Rumblebee deck, or it can just deal damage to your opponent in the late game, which is what you want to be doing. The property deck is pretty solid with 8 merchant tents and 1 shop and 1 vendor cart. This deck likes to just play super solidly with the occasional push from a shop. And doesn't want to hit a vendor card unless you're already pretty well set up, so pretty solid property deck. You have 2 copies of Labyrinth, which is a location card. It says level X and lower creatures cannot move diagonally, where X is the number of where X is the number of structures you control. These creatures ignore this effect. So if you have 3 stone walls on the field, level 3 and lower creatures can't move diagonally, which is really good. Makes moving tough for your opponents. 2 copies of Woodland Elf, which is a 2/3, really great defense card, defensive stats with aggressive attack. 2 copies of Death Stag Beetle, which can really help destroy some of those really high-end monsters your opponents control, makes them scared of pushing in because they don't want to take 3 soul damage. 2 copies of Crawling Hand, which is a 1/2, which is really great for just, getting out defensive cards right away, preventing your opponent from pushing into your zones, because you really want to keep your opponent out of your zones. And so this is a great way to just get them out fast. 3 copies of Village Bully. This is one of your win conditions. It's a 2/2 for 3, and you can pay 3 coins and deal 1 damage to any target. This is great for killing off your opponent's creatures or dealing direct damage. If you have 2 or 3 of them on the field, you combine them with your Fiend Alpha to deal 2, 3, 4 damage a turn to anything, which is really nice. This is a great card. One of the win cons of the deck. You have 2 copies of Kelvin Hired Guard, which is a 3/4, just great defensive stat block. 2 copies of Defensive Dwarf Builder, so this can help you return some of your structures to your hand from your graveyard, which is just really nice. Yeah, just an overall great card. Matter Displacer, this is a 3/2 with Flight, returns a level 5 or lower creature, structure, item back to its owner's hand. This is really nice for just, stalling the game out. It can return your opponent's big creatures to their hand, and then it's a 3/2 with Flight, and Flight is a great defensive ability. Next you have Canyon Elemental, which is a 4/12, super huge HP, so you get this out and your opponents probably aren't going to be getting to you anytime soon. Next you have 2 copies of Chevelle de Free. Structure cards can be placed in any zone, so you can place these in your front row, and they're a 3/2 structure, one of the only structures with attack, which is really nice because it makes it really annoying for your opponents to destroy without, losing one of their creatures or damaging one of their creatures for the Village Bully to finish off. You have a copy of Cabbage Wagon, which is a great way to stave off any spells that might annoy you. And it's also a structure card, which is nice. So it can counter spell an opponent's action or spell card that targets one of your cards. Next, you have 2 copies of Watchtower, so it has Fortified 5, so it's just a really strong body that you can put in your front row or anywhere for 4, which is just really strong, and you don't take soul damage. 2 copies of Trebuchet, which is one of your win conditions. It's a Fortified 3 structure card, and you can exhaust it to put a boulder counter on it, and then you can exhaust it again to launch that boulder. So one is, loading up the trebuchet, and then the second one is firing the trebuchet, and you can load it as soon as you play it. So the second turn that you have this out, you can deal 3 damage to any target in your opponent's territory, which is really, really strong. You can deal 3 damage to your opponent directly, or 3 damage to one of their creatures. Summon Defenses is really good. It just is a pay 3 coins, and you can just put it into play as a wall, or you can increase the HP of one of your smaller dudes. You have 2 copies of Conjure Wall, which basically taps your player to conjure a wall. So you, on turn 2, you could play a stone wall in one of your zones, and then you could tap your player to play another stone wall, which is just a great fast way to put your defenses up so you don't get swarmed out, and you can, play the long game. This is a control deck, so you're trying to control the board, control the game, control the pace. You have Summon Hailstorm. This is like a mini board wipe. It doesn't really affect you because it doesn't hit structures, so this is just a great way to get rid of all those small creatures that might be pushing into your field. You have 2 copies of Summon Flame, 2 copies of Bargain, 2 copies of Grave Digging, 2 copies of Minor Healing, and of course 1 Fireball, standard package for all the decks. So yeah, this is the Fortified structure deck. If you like playing a control deck, this is probably the deck for you. It's just a great way to, it's a really, really fun deck. You play long range. You don't really have to think too hard. Just play your defenses, try to stave off your opponents, and if you can manage to do that, then you will win the game with your powerful cards like Trebuchet and Keldon Higher Bully. And if you really need to just beat them down, you can use stuff like Canyon Elemental. So really, really great package altogether, really fun deck. Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned because the next videos will be battle videos. Super excited for that. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.